Hey guys, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. This article is a little bit different to most that I go through on this channel. It's an introduction in regards to some new technology, drone-based technology. So we're going to have a look at through most of the article. Plan for drones to protect women at night. Experts propose a flying gadget with a spotlight and thermal camera will arrive to scare off attackers within 4 minutes after being summoned on an app. I'll tell you what, instead of reading through the full article, I'll tell you a little bit about it. Essentially, this is a proposed plan in England, United Kingdom, to have a company supply some drones, this type of drone here, with a thermal camera attached as well as floodlights attached, and they cost around £35,000 each. And they're currently going through a trial at I think Nottingham University. Yes, they're being trialed at Nottingham University. So the idea is that if you're a concerned person, the article mentions women in particular. If you're a concerned woman, you feel vulnerable, and let's say you're walking home at night, you can request via an app on your mobile phone. You can request a drone to fly overhead and to essentially follow you, so that you're assured safety all the way home. And there will be cameras, thermal cameras and floodlights to ward off any potential attacker. So that's the general idea, or one of the uses for the drones. There will be other uses for the drones. Drones are already used in searches for missing people, especially in state parks and such. So essentially, the drones would be or could be housed at a local police station, and somebody can make a request to have a drone attend wherever they happen to be, and the drones ought to arrive within a matter of minutes, 4 minutes or so, and through electronics, there will be someone within the police station that will be able to monitor whatever appears on the camera, and will be able to move around the drone if appropriate. And the drones can also apparently be fully managed through AI, artificial intelligence. So the main idea is for these drones to replace police helicopters. So if there's a search for somebody, or somebody, be that a missing person or perhaps a suspect, a drone could be used at a much lower cost than a police helicopter could be used. So it is telling us that the costs of the unit are approximately £35,000, and the cost of using the unit per hour is £100, which is a lot cheaper than a helicopter, a police helicopter. Now, it's not going to be able to perform all of the duties that a police helicopter would. A police helicopter would be able to chase a car in a high-speed chase, and a drone is not going to be able to do that, apparently. I'm not quite sure why, though, because drones can go incredibly fast, but seemingly they're not able to. They're not appropriate to monitor high-speed chases. That's pretty much what this article is telling us. I've given you a pretty good rundown there. My feeling is that £35,000 is quite a lot of money, and £100 per hour is also quite a lot of money. Having said that, technology does tend to drop in price over time, especially where there's competition involved. If this was trialed and it is successful, then I would presume there would be other drone manufacturers, or those companies that modify the drones to perform in these such manners. I would imagine that there would be more companies in the market, and that tends to bring costs down. And I guess the costs involved really are relevant to what you compare them to. So £35,000 for an individual unit. Yes, that's quite expensive. That's probably equivalent to a police car, but at a guess. I don't know how much a police car would cost. So it is a very pricey drone, but it's a lot cheaper than a helicopter. It's a heck of a lot cheaper than a helicopter. And, you know, it can also serve a multitude of different purposes. £100 an hour, in some regards, that's expensive. You know, if that's just to help a lady walk home from a drunken night out, well, then we would hope that the someone other than the taxpayers would burden that cost. But again, having said that, maybe it's a relatively low cost to ensure the safety of an individual. You know, it's going to, if the floodlights and the cameras will prevent a crime from occurring, then perhaps the cost avoidance is significant. You're not going to need the police to get involved in a crime if that crime did not take place, because it was prevented due to a drone. So I guess, you know, the costs involved aren't insignificant. They are significant costs. But I guess if you compare them to the costs of a couple of police on the ground, then I don't know, they're pretty reasonable costs, I would imagine. And I would ultimately say, regardless, this is where things are going to be headed. We've seen the little robot dogs made by Boston Dynamics, and the Chinese manufacturers make similar robotic dogs in the shape of dogs. The Chinese make them for a fraction of the cost, around 18,000 US for those robotic dogs, which is pretty low cost. And you could have those dogs surveilling certain areas. You can have these drones surveilling certain areas. I'm all for it, frankly. If we were to put the cost to one side, if we were to imagine that the costs were bearable, or you know that they do fall in price or whatever, then I think it's fantastic. I don't go around committing crime personally. I don't go around following women or anyone that's vulnerable. I just don't do that kind of thing. So I personally don't mind if a drone happened to film me or flash a light at me. You know, it's not going to bother me. I would rather that inconvenience, that potential infringement on my privacy, I would rather that. I would rather have increased security and safety for myself and for others in the community, even if it is at the cost of a minor infringement of my privacy. Yeah, that would be my take on it. You might well disagree. You might well think this video is really, really boring. And why the heck have you made this video? Well, because I found it kind of interesting. That's why. So if you do like this video, do like, subscribe, etc., etc.